The incumbent set of Barangay Councilors League of the Philippines, BCLP Cebu City Chapter officials were elected into office last February 10, 2011 and took oath before the office of Cebu City Mayor Michael Lopez Rama 18 days after being elected. The first activity that the BCLP Cebu City Chapter conducted was the Strategic Planning Seminar, where they discussed the direction they wanted to take under the leadership of BCLP Cebu City Chapter President Franklyn O. The Strategic Planning Seminar was then followed by a leadership training and team-building seminar at Kremdek in Barangay Taptap, Cebu City. From August to October of 2011, Cebu City's barangay councilors participated in the Parliamentary Procedure, Self-Awareness Seminar, and Team Enhancement Workshop at the Alta Cebu Resort in Cordova every Friday and Saturday for 8 consecutive weeks. In December 2011, BCLP held its second General Assembly and President's Report at the Atlantic Hall of Waterfront Cebu City Hotel in Lahug. In 2012, the BCLP Cebu City Chapter joined Cebuanos in venerating Señor Santo Niño by joining the Cebuano community celebrate Sinulog. BCLP Cebu City Chapter even came up with their float in joining Sinulog 2012. In March 2012, barangay councilors from Cebu City's 80 barangays kicked back and enjoyed reminiscing their childhood days as they participated in the Pinoy Olympics, which was held at Alta Resort together with the first BCLP General Assembly for 2012. That same month, BCLP Cebu City Chapter officials participated in the Legislative Enhancement Seminar in Aklan, Boracay in response to the invitation from the BCLP National Chapter. On September 29, 2012, the BCLP Cebu City Chapter, together with the Cebu City Government, conducted a Disaster Risk Reduction Management Seminar. November that same year, BCLP Cebu City Chapter was invited to the Year-End Assessment and General Assembly of BCLP Coronadal City. Last December 27, 2012, during the second BCLP Cebu City Chapter General Assembly and President's Report, all of Cebu City's 80 barangays were given 20,000 pesos each for their sports development programs and were given sports equipment and supplies through the Priority Development Assistance Fund of former Congressman Tomas R. Osmeña. April of this year, barangay officials also participated in the BCLP bowling tournament held prior to the first General Assembly at SM City, Cebu. Last August 29, the BCLP Cebu City Chapter assisted as Secretariat and Technical Working Group for the first BCLP National General Assembly and Legislative Enhancement Program held in Subic Bay, Olongapo City, and attended by nearly 1,000 barangay councilors from all over the country. All throughout their term, the BCLP Cebu City Chapter conducted a regular feeding program for all 80 barangays in Cebu City, aided by funds from former South District Representative Tomas Osmeña. Children from the 80 barangays of Cebu City, near or far, benefited from this regular feeding program, which was held on weekends with BCLP officers visiting even the far-flung barangays, crossing rivers just to make sure that children from the mountain barangays will benefit from the same feeding program. Last November, Typhoon Yolanda, considered to be the strongest typhoon to ever make landfall worldwide, struck central Visayas and claimed thousands of lives. Typhoon Yolanda left many Filipinos homeless with nothing but the clothes on their back. They say that in times of adversity, the true measure of a man is shown. Cebu City was not spared from Yolanda's wrath, but still, we were one of those considerably more fortunate compared to the degree of devastation that Typhoon Yolanda brought to Leyte and even closer to home, northern Cebu. 2 days after Yolanda hit, BCLP Cebu City Chapter President Franklyn O launched relief operations aptly called BCLP, Bangon Cebu, Lihok, Pilipinas, for the victims of the super typhoon. He asked all barangay officials to help by utilizing their respective barangay halls as drop-off points for donations, contribute in their personal capacities, and encourage their constituents to help in any way they can.
Through the Barangay Councilors League of the Philippines Cebu City Chapter, nanihangyo ta ni awag das na makauban sa buhat nga moto nga mahatag sila relief goods nilang matabang adto sa atong opisina sa BCLP dito sa City Hall. Yeah.
Amid the clamor for food and water, among others, which many say took such a long time to reach the typhoon victims, Ong, together with BCLP Cebu City Chapter officers, went to the northern towns and distributed relief goods 4 days after the typhoon. These donations were sourced out of their own personal funds and were turned over to the respective town mayors regardless of political affiliations. Along the way, BCLP Cebu City Chapter officers saw the devastation and the many people lining up along the road waiting for generous people to pass by and give them food. After a week, the BCLP relief operations yielded more than what was expected. It yielded thousands of food, water, clothes, a truckload of hope and inspiration that even beyond their areas of jurisdiction, Cebu City Barangay Councilors are ready and willing to help. Led by their President Franklyn O, BCLP Cebu City Chapter officials worked together to give much-needed help to fellow Cebuanos in the northern towns of Cebu, including the town of Medellin through Mayor Ricardo Ramirez, Daan Bantayan through Mayor Augustus Coro, and the town of San Remigio through Mayor Mariano Martinez. The BCLP Cebu City Chapter was also able to extend assistance to the town of Pilar in Camotes through Ryan Borinaga of DYRC, The Freeman, and Banat News. For the towns of Bantayan and Madridejos through former Municipal Councilor Emmy Matis Gabito of Bantay Radio DYDD, and the rest were turned over to the Cebu Catholic Television Network, CCTN Channel 47, who regularly distributed relief goods to the towns affected by the typhoon, and even before, when an earthquake shook the Visayas last October. This is BCLP Cebu City Chapter, 3 years of helping colleagues in public service and serving Cebu City's 80 barangays. 3 years of doing more than what is expected, going beyond boundaries, service beyond colors.